Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump's bill getting ripped apart. So, I was waiting for the Senate parliamentarian to finish her work before I made this video. But the list is getting too long. So, we'll do this one and then another later. Trump's one big beautiful bill is going through the bird bath. The only reason this package stands a chance of passing is because it's using the budget reconciliation process. There will be an explainer down below if you want to know about the different rule specifics. That process allows it to get around the filibuster. However, there are rules. One of the important ones is the Byrd rule, spelled B-Y-R-D. The process of yanking stuff out that doesn't comply is called a bird bath. The Republicans in the Senate already yanked stuff and rewrote stuff to try to comply with the rule. Now, the Senate parliamentarian, who is the person who calls balls and strikes in the Senate, is going through the bill. Here's a partial list of things that will have to be reworked or yanked. I'm saying partial because there's more stuff coming out constantly. I'm going to start with one provision that was causing a lot of concern, and even though I said it would get bird bathed, it led to literally dozens of messages each week while we waited for the process to play out. That ridiculous provision hindering enforcement of contempt proceedings against the president, it was rejected by the Senate parliamentarian. You can't enact drastic policy like that through the budget reconciliation process. So, food stamps or SNAP. There's a provision that pushes a lot of the cost onto the states. This was a major cut and it didn't make it. A provision looking to get rid of the EPA's vehicle emission rules took a bird bath. They didn't have a budget impact, therefore can't be part of the budget reconciliation process. The provision targeting the statutory authorizations of Inflation Reduction Act programs didn't make it. But it does look like Republicans will be able to pull unobligated funding. A rule that would prevent certain judicial reviews and change the way permitting under the National Environmental Policy Act happens if companies pay more is also a no-go. One of the weird provisions that the Senate rewrote to try to make it compliant made it through. The AI regulation ban was accepted because Senator Cruz rewrote it to tie it to federal funding about broadband. Basically, states would lose funding if they regulate AI. Bizarrely, the administration is already cutting the funding they plan on using as leverage here. So, states will probably end up being free to regulate AI without federal consequence. The provisions to frankly destroy the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau were rejected. Republicans literally tried to zero out funding for it, which, sure, that's budgetary, but it also constitutes a policy change beyond the budget. More financial cuts in the Financial Research Fund and the attempt to move the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, that's oversight for accounting firms, were rejected. The attempt to cut pay at the Federal Reserve was also bounced back. The provision that would have provided more oversight over Pentagon spending of new funds was rejected as well, which is sad. That was actually kind of a smart way to do it, but it's outside the scope of the budget reconciliation process. Okay, so there's still way more to come. At time of recording, the parliamentarian still hasn't looked at the Senate's creative accounting measures. The items that have been rejected can be rewritten or pulled completely. Republicans could, in theory, override the parliamentarian, but that would amount to ignoring the filibuster and would be a huge risk to Republicans in the future. So, more to come here. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.